Good morning, everyone. We are live from Toronto, and today I'm going to talk about some updates in the world of immigration to Canada. So, before people join this session, I will just share with you three updates that I'm just reading from different websites. So, according to dailyhive.com, sorry, over 6,000 American tourists have tried to enter Canada since COVID 19 started. As you know, because of the closure of the border, those tourists cannot enter Canada. And of course, they were returned back to their home country. The border between Canada and the United States remains closed at least up until November 21st, 2020. If you're not familiar with travel exemptions and how some of those people could actually come to Canada, please watch my previous videos, or if I get some time, I will share those options available to Americans and other citizens. You may need to know that typically in a year, around 14 to 15 million Americans visit Canada. So we have 14 to 15 million Americans who visit Canada every year. About 27 to 30 million trips to Canada from the United States. It means that some Americans visit Canada multiple times. However, this year, because of the closure of the borders, that number has dropped more than a 98%. The other piece of news is from saobaserver.net. They actually say that Singla and Tor make first court appearances on immigration fraud. If you are not familiar with the case is a case of two successful British Columbia based business people who were involved with immigration fraud. And of course, these are not proven in the courts, these are just charges. And they have been um, presented by different media outlets in the past few weeks. And now they had their first court appearance, and the case were adjourned until January 6, 2021. So still we need to wait to see that whether they will be convicted or not. According to this news outlet, Princeton property developer and rental manager Surinder Paul Singla of Singla Brothers Holdings Limited is facing 10 charges of counseling or attempting to counsel misrepresentation under the Immigration and Refugee Protected Act. The charges date from 2015 to 2017. And also, you need to know that the Randy Singh Tour 56 owner and president of Desert Hill State Winery Inc. and Tour Vineyards is charged with 18 counts of counseling misrepresentation under the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act. For those of you who are not familiar with this, counseling misrepresentation is Section 126 of the Act, and it could result for up to 5 years in prison and also up to $100,000 in fines per charge. So that could, obviously, this is the final decision of the court whether to convince, convict them or not. But if they get convicted, then they will decide on their fate. The other piece of news that I would like to share with you is about the list of the schools that are COVID-19 ready. It's actually published on my website. You can visit settler.ca/tt/DLI. And for those of you who are live, I also type it here. So that's settler.ca/tt/DLI. And I have briefly explained what's going on. So if you hold a valid study permit to Canada and you want to come to Canada, you may travel to Canada if your school is identified by IRCC, immigration authorities, as the school that has a plan ready for COVID-19. This means that the school has special protocols in place. For example, you need to wear masks all the time when you are inside any of the buildings of the school. There are social distancing policies in place. There are multiple places that you can find hand sanitizers, and also the arrangements inside the classrooms are in such a way that students are staying away from each other. If a province, whether whichever province that school is located, identify that school that they have a COVID-19 ready plan in place, then they may submit their request to IRCC, and IRCC will publish the list of those schools online. If you refer to my website, settler.ca/tt/DLI, you will see the list of those schools. In order to be able to travel to Canada, you need to hold a valid study permit. Your school must be one of those schools published by IRCC, and also you need to have a quarantine plan in place. It means that when you come to Canada, you need to self isolate for a period of 14 days. During those 14 days, you need to make sure that you are able to be away from the rest of the population. You have access to enough food and also consumable products. And in case that you have medical needs, you have made arrangements for your medical needs. If you have received a positive response for your stage one study permit, you cannot travel to Canada. So if you have been approved for stage one, make sure to submit any missing documents in your application. If any documents are missing, for example, doing your biometrics, medical examination, anything that is necessary to be submitted. And then after submission, you can go on IRCC web form to submit a request to IRCC to expedite processing your application. If they agree to expedite processing your application, you will receive your study permit. And with that study permit, you can travel to Canada. Some people ask me about spousal sponsorship application. The Minister of Immigration, Marco Mendicino, announced in September that they are going to increase their workforce for spousal sponsorship by 66%. That means that there are a lot more officers who focus on immigration of spouses to Canada, spousal sponsorship cases. And that means that we expect to see at least or around 6,000 spousal applications to be finalized in the month of October, another 6,000 in the month of November, and another 6,000 in the month of December. It brings the total number of sponsorship applications to be processed in the year 2020 to 49,000. That's not good enough because last year we had 67,000 spousal sponsorship applications processed alone in year 2019. And this 49,000 includes parental sponsorship applications as well. However, hopefully we will see some positive movements in the field of spousal immigration. I have several spousal sponsorship applications waiting to be processed, and some of them they have passed their 12 months mark, but we haven't seen many activities from immigration authorities. As I mentioned in my previous videos, I've seen some activities from CPC Mississauga, from New Delhi, from Ankara, but not good enough to the point that they actually issue a passport request and allow the spouse to join their permanent resident or citizen spouse in Canada. So we're still waiting to see actual movements, but on the news they promised that they will process applications. In terms of, and I'm waiting, if you have any questions, by all means, please ask your questions. I will answer them. In terms of express entry applications, I must let you know that the last round of invitation invited 4,500 people, but they included all immigration applications. That means that they included Canadian experience class, they included uh, federal skilled worker and federal skilled trades, and the lowest CRS score was 471. Believe me, 471 is a huge, huge number. And those people who managed to receive 471, they are people who usually have Canadian work experience. That's why still CEC is on top of the list in terms of people who can actually immigrate to Canada under the express entry. In terms of other provinces, I have actually a list of updates on my website about other provinces that invited people. If you want to see that list, actually, I can post the link later on. But if you are on the chat box, oh, you can also visit this link. For example, British Columbia on October 13th, they invited 417 people. However, they later invited another 82 people to immigrate. Saskatchewan, the latest update that I have is from September 24th, that they invited 257 people under occupations in demand, 278 people under express entry. Manitoba on October 8th invited 152 people under skilled workers in Manitoba, 25 people under international education stream, and 14 candidates under skilled workers overseas. That's not a huge number. Ontario also invited 772 people under targeted draw tech draw on October 15, 2020. But there are some other activities from Ontario more recent than that. Quebec is still silent, not much activity from Quebec. We also have some activities from Prince Edward Island. It was in September 17th. They invited 32 business entrepreneur invitations and 313 labor and express entry invitations. Unfortunately, other provinces, they do not publish their invitations and reports online. I have tried to get in touch with those provinces, communicate with them, ask them whether they will make those numbers public or not. They either didn't reply back to me, or if they replied back to me, they said that they are not going to publish the numbers online. So these are the ones that I have. However, you can go to our website. The link, I will also post it down below here later on. You can go and watch those numbers over there. The other issue that you need to know is that when you are immigrating to Canada, you cannot be inadmissible to Canada. Or if you are in Canada and they recognize that you are inadmissible to Canada, unfortunately, they will run an inadmissibility hearing and they will remove you from Canada. You will receive a removal order. To understand what is inadmissibility to Canada, I have a couple of articles on my website and a video about inadmissibility to Canada. And the video explains the grounds for inadmissibility. For example, it could be security reasons like terrorism and espionage. It could be because of human rights violations. It could be because of criminality or serious criminality, and also human organized criminality. It could be because of financial reasons, health reasons, family members inadmissible, non-compliance with the act. And for each of those, there is a remedy. I recently wrote an article with those remedies. It's a lengthy article that explain each ground of inadmissibility to Canada and the remedies around that, what kind of options you potentially have. For example, can you apply under humanitarian compassionate grounds if you are inadmissible to Canada under that ground or not, or for example, temporary resident permit as a temporary solution to that problem. I also talk about other options like the ministerial relief, rehabilitation, record suspension, acquittal, and any other potential option that exists for each ground of inadmissibility. My intention is to record a video on that subject, hopefully today or tomorrow, and then I will publish that video as well. That will give you more information in terms of what causes inadmissibility, and especially if you are found inadmissible to Canada, can you find a remedy for that inadmissibility, and despite being inadmissible to Canada, travel to Canada or immigrate to Canada. Some of the inadmissibility issues, they are temporary situations, and for those temporary situations, you just need to wait. For example, if somebody has received misrepresentation, they are inadmissible to Canada for 5 years. So if you wait 5 years, after 5 years, you are not inadmissible to Canada. However, if you want to enter Canada before that 5-year period, you need to address that before being able to travel to Canada and immigrate to Canada. And remember, when you are inadmissible to Canada, you cannot apply for immigration to Canada. I mean, if you do, they will immediately refuse your application. So, for example, if you have misrepresented and your misrepresentation expires 6 months from now, don't apply today in the hopes that the processing time is 6 months, and then they will eventually, when they are finalizing your application, you are not inadmissible. They look into the time that you applied for immigration. So be careful with that. If you want to read my article on this subject, let me just, I will post the link below here as well. But for those of you who are live, let me also post the link here. Okay, but I will post the link down below as well. And as I mentioned, my intention is that in the next couple of days, publish a video and explain remedies to inadmissibility. Okay, there's a question here. Mohammed Hussein says, hello again. I'm refugee in Jordan and I applied for UNHCR. Then they called me and they removed my file to Canadian Embassy and I'm waiting their phone call. So my question is, how long do I have to wait? Okay, so if you have been approved by UNHCR and they have transferred your file to the Canadian Embassy, actually, nowadays, unfortunately, it will take a very, very long time, Mohammed, because the visa offices are very slow. I do not know, just as disclaimer, I do not do resettlement applications, so I don't have hands-on experience in terms of what happens. But based on the news, I know that the wait time is very long. So it could be several months before they actually process your application. Now, they may interview you in the near future, but it could take several months before they actually process you and you can travel to Canada. If you are interested, there I have an article about the subject of resettlement, and let me just share this link with you, because there are some options for resettlement, and some of those options, they are not government-based options. It means that the government of Canada, in collaboration with a church or a charity or a group of 5 people, they process the resettlement. And if you have that collaboration, it could speed up your process. So you can read that and see if this is an option. You can get in touch with certain organizations that could support you, because if you have the support of those organizations, then there is a chance that they will speed up your process. But if there are no organizations, they will eventually process your application. It's just that, unfortunately, it's going to take a very long time. Having said that, Again, I emphasize I do not do resettlements, so I don't have hands on experience. It's a good idea if you also get in touch with somebody who does resettlements. And also keep that in mind, COVID-19 is full of surprises. Sometimes they process applications way sooner than what we expect. Okay, Rupesh Sangvi. Good morning, sir. I did like to have an appointment after your session. It's regarding my queries. So, Rupesh, unfortunately, this doesn't work this way. So, if you want to talk to me, then let me see. Please get in touch with our team. And they will tell you what are your options. So I just post our contact information here because I'm already booked. So after this appointment, I have an appointment with a client, and then after that, I'm teaching at college. So I'm fully booked for today. But please get in touch with us through the contact information, and hopefully they will arrange a meeting between you and me. Okay. But thank you very much. So okay. Oh my God, our 20 minutes is over. So I'm going to stop here, but I will do my best to come back tomorrow as well. My plan is to be live every day around 9 a.m. Toronto time on weekdays. So let's see. Hopefully, it will happen. There are some fees, yes, if you want to talk to me. But sometimes, if you just fill out the assessment form, then our assessment team will assess it for free. That's why I'm saying please get in touch with us and they will show you the different options. But yes, my consultation is actually very expensive. I charge $200 for consultation. But if there are alternative options through our team, those options are free. Okay, thank you very much and hopefully see you tomorrow. Bye now.